The glittering lights of a modern stadium offer an illusion of absolute perfection where tens of thousands of voices unite under the hypnotic spell of pop superstardom. For hours before the gates even open, the perimeter of these massive venues transforms into a sprawling ecosystem of anticipation populated by a fiercely dedicated subculture of fans. They gather from all corners of the globe, braving scorching heat, freezing rain, and endless hours on concrete sidewalks, all for a singular, fleeting purpose. That purpose is to secure a spot at the very front of the general admission barricade, a mere arm's length away from the cultural icons who shape their worldview. This psychological phenomenon of extreme fandom has evolved far beyond simple admiration, morphing into an intense competitive marathon where physical endurance is tested to its absolute limits. To the casual observer, the dedication required to stand in line for days seems unfathomable, yet to the initiated, it is a necessary ritual of modern music worship. As ticket prices soar into the thousands of dollars and social media amplification turns front-row proximity into the ultimate status symbol, the lengths to which people will go to maintain their positions have reached unprecedented levels. The barrier dividing the artist from the audience is no longer just a physical structure. It has become the focal point of a complex human drama driven by obsession, sacrifice, and an unyielding desire to be seen by the idols on stage. To truly understand this world, one must look past the glamorous social media posts and examine the gritty, unspoken realities that occur in the shadows of the arena. If you want to explore the deepest mysteries of modern pop culture and follow this unfolding story to its startling conclusion, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. The transition from a normal music enthusiast to a hardcore devotee who will sacrifice basic human comfort is a gradual process fueled by the unique mechanics of the modern music industry. Decades ago, attending a concert meant purchasing a seat, walking in when the doors opened, and enjoying the performance from a designated space. Today, the rise of general admission floor standing areas has revolutionized the live entertainment experience, turning the area closest to the stage into a highly contested battleground. In this environment, the rules of basic etiquette often dissolve, replaced by a ruthless survival of the fittest mentality where leaving your spot for even a single minute means losing it forever. This unforgiving reality has given birth to a secret world of tactical planning among concertgoers who share tips online about how to survive the grueling ordeal of the barricade. They discuss everything from hydration strategies to defensive standing postures designed to prevent rivals from pushing past them in the dark. Yet, as the stakes have risen, the methods have grown increasingly desperate, leading to a bizarre intersection of human biology and pop music fanaticism that few outsiders could ever imagine. The artists themselves look out from their elevated stages into a sea of faces that have undergone immense physical hardship just to gaze up at them, creating a strange dynamic of mutual dependency and unspoken tension. This atmosphere of heightened emotion sets the stage for revelations that challenge our understanding of what it means to be a fan in the 21st century. At the center of this contemporary cultural vortex stands 23-year-old Olivia Rodrigo, a performer who has rapidly ascended from a child star to one of the defining voices of her generation. Her music, characterized by raw emotional vulnerability and sharp, angsty lyricism, has struck a massive chord with millions of young people worldwide who see their own struggles reflected in her songs. With the release of her highly anticipated new album, titled You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love, the spotlight on Rodrigo has intensified to a blinding degree, forcing her to navigate not only her immense fame but also the increasingly eccentric behaviors of her global fan base. During a recent promotional appearance on the prominent British radio station Kiss FM UK, the young pop act dropped a bombshell disclosure that sent shockwaves through the entertainment media and left her hosts completely flabbergasted. While discussing the intense energy of her live performances and the terrifying loyalty of the crowds packing her venues, Rodrigo peeled back the curtain on a deeply uncomfortable reality that exists right at the foot of her stage. She revealed that some of her most passionate followers have taken to adopting extreme, desperate measures to ensure that their front-row view remains entirely uninterrupted throughout the duration of her massive concerts. The admission was delivered with a mix of disbelief and candid honesty. Shining a harsh light on the hidden costs of the perfect concert experience, the specific revelation made by the young singer points to a practice that is as shocking as it is logistically fascinating. exposing the length to which human beings will suppress their own basic bodily functions for the sake of entertainment. Rodrigo explained to the radio hosts that she has personally witnessed and experienced the consequences of fans wearing adult diapers to her shows simply to avoid losing their hard-won positions at the front of the crowd. The performer noted that she has been to certain concerts and specific music festivals where this hidden reality becomes overwhelming, stating plainly that it has been an experience as a performer that she has actually smelled from the stage. This candid statement instantly shattered the pristine, heavily manufactured illusion of the stadium concert, replacing it with a visceral, earthy reminder of the intense physical confinement that defines the front row experience. The hosts could scarcely contain their astonishment as the pop star detailed how the absolute refusal to yield a single inch of ground to fellow concertgoers has driven people to bypass traditional restroom breaks entirely. This phenomenon raises profound questions about the psychological state of modern consumers who view a temporary physical inconvenience as a small price to pay for an uninterrupted view of their favorite artist. It suggests a shift in the nature of live entertainment, where the event is no longer just about listening to music, but about surviving an ordeal to claim a badge of ultimate dedication. This bizarre tactic, while shocking to hear from the lips of a mainstream pop star, is actually part of a much longer and surprisingly varied history of human ingenuity weaponized against the inconvenience of long lines. For decades, large-scale public events, from political inaugurations to massive sporting championships, have forced crowds into spaces completely unequipped to handle basic biological necessities efficiently. In the 1990s, this recurring dilemma led to the invention of novelty medical and commercial devices like the Stadium Pal, a specialized portable urinal system that men could discreetly attach to their bodies to relieve themselves without ever leaving their stadium seats or abandoning their places in interminable bathroom lines. Over the years, such extreme measures moved from the fringes of eccentric gadgetry into the mainstream of high-stakes event attendance driven by the sheer scale of modern stadium tours. The phenomenon found a massive digital showcase during Taylor Swift's historic and culturally dominant Eras Tour, where numerous audience members openly turned to social media platforms like TikTok to proudly admit that they were utilizing adult diapers during the multi-hour performances. These fans rationalized their decisions by pointing to the eye-watering prices they had paid for their tickets, arguing that missing even a single song or a costume change would represent a devastating financial and emotional loss, thus turning a medical garment into an essential piece of concert survival gear. The physical extremes that fans are willing to endure at the foot of the stage represent only one facet of the intense pressure surrounding modern musical icons like Olivia Rodrigo. While the biological sacrifices of her audience paint a vivid picture of contemporary obsession, a far more intense and psychologically exhausting battle has been unfolding in the virtual arena of social media. The 23-year-old pop star recently found herself at the epicenter of a massive online controversy that shifted the public discourse from harmless eccentricities to fierce moral condemnation. This digital firestorm erupted immediately after Rodrigo appeared on stage during a high-profile concert appearance wearing a fashion ensemble that deeply polarized the internet. The outfit in question consisted of a classic baby doll dress paired with rugged combat boots, a styling choice that was intentionally reminiscent of the alternative rock aesthetics pioneered by Courtney Love during her mid-1990s heyday with the highly influential band Hole. What the singer intended as a stylish tribute to her musical heroes was instantly intercepted by online commentators and twisted into a sinister narrative. A vocal contingent of internet trolls and critics launched a coordinated assault against the performer, leveling the highly damaging and inflammatory accusation of pedo-baiting against her. This severe allegation implies that the artist was deliberately utilizing an aesthetic associated with childhood or innocence to court inappropriate sexualization. An accusation that completely caught the young star off guard. The online backlash quickly escalated from standard internet negativity into a full-blown moral panic, spreading across platforms like TikTok and Instagram with alarming speed. For several days, the public discourse around Rodrigo was entirely consumed by furious debates regarding the ethics of her stage wardrobe and the societal implications of her performance style. Critics argued that by donning a dress style structurally associated with toddlers and young children, a grown woman in a position of immense cultural influence was playing into dangerous cultural tropes. This intense scrutiny is not an isolated incident in contemporary pop culture, as it mirrors a very similar uproar that occurred previously over a controversial scene in the acclaimed television series Euphoria. In that particular television episode, the character Cassie, portrayed by actress Sydney Sweeney, was depicted dressing as a baby for a fictional OnlyFans photo shoot. An artistic choice that triggered an immediate wave of public revulsion and intense media analysis regarding the sexualization of childlike imagery in modern media. The memory of that television controversy served as fresh fuel for the anger directed at Rodrigo, as internet users drew immediate parallels between the fictional drama and the real-life stage outfits of the pop singer, creating an atmosphere of heightened suspicion where every creative decision was viewed through a lens of deep cynicism, refusing to be silenced or intimidated by the mounting wave of online condemnation. Olivia Rodrigo decided to confront her detractors head-on during a candid appearance on the New York Times' prominent music podcast known as the Popcast. Instead of offering a standard publicist-approved apology or retreating from the public eye, the young artist issued a furious, deeply articulated response that flipped the script entirely on her critics. With immense emotional intensity, Rodrigo insisted that the internet commentators who were attacking her dress choices were actually the ones demonstrating how deeply normalized pedophilia has become within modern culture. She confessed to the listeners that she was profoundly upset by the entire furor, explaining that the widespread outrage carried a deeply triggering echo of a very specific societal rhetoric that young girls are fed from the moment they are small children. This toxic narrative, she argued, constantly tells young women that they must carefully police their own clothing choices because if a man chooses to objectify or sexualize their bodies, it is ultimately deemed to be the woman's fault. By framing her defense around the concept of systemic victim blaming, Rodrigo sought to dismantle the core argument of her trolls, transforming a superficial controversy about a stage dress into a serious conversation about female autonomy and the unfair burdens placed on women in the public eye. When the subject of the infamous baby doll dress was raised directly during the podcast discussion, Rodrigo displayed a mixture of defiance and profound weariness regarding the fickle nature of online fame. She emphasized to the audience that her distress was not rooted in a desire for personal validation or a fear of negative press, stating plainly that people can say whatever they want about her because she genuinely does not care about individual insults. Instead, the former child star found the broader societal backlash deeply disturbing because of the blatant hypocrisy it revealed regarding how female performers are judged by the public. Rodrigo pointed out that she has regularly performed on stages across the world in outfits that are objectively far more revealing, such as a sparkly bra paired with tiny shorts, which she views as her absolute right as a performer. She recalled feeling entirely cool, confident, and comfortable in those revealing outfits without facing anywhere near the level of moral outrage generated by the covered-up dress. The singer found it utterly mind-boggling that an outfit that left almost all of her skin completely hidden from view could be deemed deeply inappropriate by millions of people simply because its structural silhouette was interpreted as childlike. While standard, highly revealing pop star attire was accepted without a second thought, as the interview progressed, Rodrigo doubled down on her creative choices, explaining the specific artistic lineage that inspired the baby doll dress in the first place. She clarified that she never viewed the outfit as sexy or provocative in any way, but rather saw it as a direct nod to the fierce anti-patriarchal punk rock movements of the 1990s. When she first put on the ensemble of the dress and the combat boots, she felt an immense sense of pride, believing she looked like her musical and cultural heroes, specifically naming Kathleen Hanna of the legendary Riot Girl band Bikini Kill alongside Courtney Love. To Rodrigo, that fashion choice was about channeling raw female power, historical music appreciation, and creative comfort, making the internet's hypersexualized interpretation of the look feel completely alien and warped. She warned that if women start altering their daily clothing choices out of fear that some random internet freak might misinterpret their outfit as a baby costume, then society has completely lost the plot. The 23-year-old maintained that she feels incredibly protective of younger women and girls who are growing up in this hypercritical digital ecosystem, and she refuses to let them be fed the dangerous rhetoric that they are responsible for how men perceive them, cementing her position as a fierce defender of creative expression. The fierce defense put forward by Olivia Rodrigo on the public airwaves did very little to calm the waters of public opinion, as her online critics remained resolutely unpersuaded by her explanations. Instead of fading away, the controversy found a second life in the highly toxic ecosystem of social media comment sections, particularly on platforms like Instagram, where a clip of her interview was widely circulated. Thousands of users flooded the comment space to vent their profound outrage, creating a wall of digital hostility that highlighted the deep ideological divide between the pop star and a vocal portion of the public. Livid responses poured in by the minute, with users typing out heated messages accusing the young singer of being completely blind to the real-world implications of her wardrobe choices. Commenters wrote in all capital letters that Rodrigo was the one actively normalizing dangerous themes, arguing that a grown woman wearing clothes structured specifically for toddlers was inherently problematic regardless of her artistic intentions. Other observers chimed in to express their deep disappointment, stating that the singer was demonstrating a total lack of awareness by claiming her body was covered up when the literal name and history of the garment was rooted in childhood imagery. For these critics, the issue was never about the amount of skin being shown, but rather about the symbolic meaning of the aesthetic itself, leading many to state that wearing a standard bikini would have been far less confusing and much more appropriate for a professional music stage. Yet, amidst this overwhelming wave of digital condemnation, Rodrigo found a powerful and historically significant ally in the form of Courtney Love herself, the iconic rock starlet who had originally pioneered that exact look during the alternative rock boom of the 1990s. Love, who famously utilized baby doll dresses as a form of subversive performance art in a fashion trend that the media of the era aggressively labeled as kinder whore, took to social media to react to the modern controversy with a mix of exhaustion and dark humor. The legendary frontwoman posted a candid snapshot of herself exasperatedly covering her face with her hand, adding a caption that noted she was sitting in her own classic baby doll dress and bloomers while watching Olivia Rodrigo get absolutely cooked by angry Twitter users. This public gesture of solidarity provided a fascinating bridge between two distinct generations of female artists who have both faced intense public moral panics over their presentation and bodily autonomy. The public interaction also highlighted the ongoing cycle of cultural controversy, demonstrating how a fashion statement that was used to challenge societal expectations 30 years ago can still trigger a fierce, reactionary moral panic when reinterpreted by a young female artist in the modern digital age. This was far from the first time that Rodrigo had drawn direct creative inspiration from the turbulent legacy of Courtney Love and her band Hole, as the young pop star has a long and well-documented history of paying homage to the alternative rock icons who paved the way before her. The most prominent and heavily discussed instance of this artistic borrowing occurred during the promotional campaign for Rodrigo's historic 2121 smash hit single, Sour Prom. The promotional imagery for that project featured a highly stylized photograph of Rodrigo depicted as a classic high school prom queen, wearing a shiny tiara while crying so intensely that thick streaks of black mascara ran down her cheeks. The visual composition was an immediate, unmistakable takeoff on the legendary album cover of Hole's masterpiece album released in 1994, titled Live Through This, which famously featured model Leilani Bishop in a nearly identical state of emotional distress. At the time of the Sour Prom release, the striking visual similarity caught the attention of Love, who expressed a touch of public chagrin over the fact that the younger artist had not explicitly reached out to ask for her formal approval before recreating the iconic imagery, noting pointedly in an online comment that she always digs good manners among fellow musicians, in an effort to smoothly mend fences and demonstrate her genuine respect for her musical predecessor. Rodrigo quickly extended a warm digital olive branch by leaving a heartfelt comment on Love's Instagram page, declaring her profound affection for both Love and the Live Through This album. The rock icon responded to the gesture with her trademark wit, suggesting, possibly in jest, that she would gladly accept a formal gesture of gratitude in the shape of a beautiful bouquet of flowers and a handwritten card. This complex history of creative borrowing, public friction, and ultimate solidarity underscores the intricate relationships that define the modern music industry, where young stars must constantly navigate the massive shadows cast by their influences while building their own distinct identities. As the dust slowly settles on this latest wardrobe controversy, the larger questions regarding the intense surveillance of female pop stars, the extreme physical boundaries of fandom, and the cyclic nature of moral panics remain entirely unresolved, proving that the space right in front of the stadium stage will always be a place of deep cultural conflict. The journey of Olivia Rodrigo, from a Disney child actor to a fiercely independent artist willing to challenge her own